Okay, so here's what stands out to me. I haven't looked at the projections in a while, so I decided to take a look at Fangraphs Pacoda. Pacoda has the Yankees with the best chance of winning. Not a big surprise. They're co-favorites, dominating the season. They're plus 450. That's the best number you can find out there. And Pacoda gives them a 20.5% chance. Then I looked at the Fangraphs projections. Any guesses? It is not the Yankees on who Fangraphs has with the highest percentage to win the World Series.
Is it the Dodgers?
It is not.
Astros.
Not the Dodgers. It is the Astros. Astros, much lower percentage at 14.6. The best number you can get on the Astros right now is 7-1. They are the third favorite with the Mets there. So that certainly stood out. But we were talking about it during the break. The Blue Jays overall are the fifth favorite, and the best number you can find, it looks like, is 12-1 right now. And if you look at these projection models, they are not with any of that. They are not the fifth favorite. Fangraphs, I'm counting down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got them seventh with a 6% chance of winning. Again, that number is only 12-1. Pacoda, I wrote down the top 7. They're not in the top 7.
Interesting.
So, yeah, the numbers, I'd have to keep looking here. Let's see, where are they? They're at World Series odds 3.8% and 12-1. Wow. So I was thinking that the numbers would back it. So it feels like the reason that the Toronto number is still so short is because of public perception. They were the hot team going into the year. They've had a good first half. They have. It's not their fault that the Yankees are just playing out of this world, and they're probably not going to catch them for the division. That's not on them. They've done their part. Maybe we should look at them. But I guess the odds makers are also thinking, hey, they have a solid record. They're not that far off expectation. The public loves them. Why do we have to raise the number? Because if we do, we're just going to create more Blue Jays liability for ourselves.
That's probably it. Just leave it right where it is, and then they kind of they're not taking on more there. That makes sense.
That's just my guess. Do you guys think the Blue Jays should be the fifth favorite? Dodgers, Yankees,
I don't.
Astros, Mets.
I mean, I was surprised to see them as the fifth favorite, and that's why I brought it up, because it just doesn't seem like they should be right there. But it probably is public perception. I mean, the reason why it stood out to me is because I bet the Blue Jays before the season started to win the World Series, and I'm like, man, they have been so disappointing. And yet here they are as the fifth favorite to win the World Series, and I just don't see it.
Yeah, if you ask me right now, like to tier these teams, I would have the Braves above the Blue Jays in that second tier. Yeah. I have I would flip flop the Braves and the Blue Jays. Like the Braves at 11-1 would make more sense than the Blue Jays at 13-1, 11-1. Like flip flop those two.
Now we should also mention though that yes, the Blue Jays are the fifth favorite, but they're really close to being the seventh favorite because the Padres are right there, and so are the Braves.
Yep. Though, if you're asked, like, I think there's a big gap between those top four and everybody else. Like, you could convince me to tier those teams any way you want based on the week we just had. Blue Jays, Braves, Padres, Brewers, White Sox, who just struggle with the Orioles.
Dude.
Like, I know. If it's Dylan Cease saved the day yesterday.
Yes, he did. Giolito going to today. We can talk about that. I mean, he is not on a good run at all. Where do you stop when we go down the list? And where you say, okay, you know what? I don't see that team winning the World Series. Can we make a case for the Blue Jays, Padres, Braves, all those teams in that tier? Are we good with?
Yeah, I think they all could. I mean, they could win. I almost think there's a bigger gap, and I know it's baseball, right? The 3-game series in the first round, but doesn't it feel like those four at the top are starting to pull in a different direction than other teams? Maybe the Braves belong with them, but I don't know. Brewers, White Sox, Rays. There should be a big gap between them and the top. They're not as good as those teams.
Which team's going to make a big move in a month?
Jake's Cardinals.
You mean like for a player?
I mean
or
trade. I mean trade
Yeah.
deadline. Yeah.
San Diego's always ripe to do something, right? That's the way that GM operates. They could do something.
It's interesting that the Cardinals have double the odds of the Brewers right now.
I don't get it. They're even.
Yeah. Right.
They strike me as even kind of teams.
Cardinals 35-1, Brewers best number you can get is 18-1. It's kind of like pick your team there, right? I know we keep making cases for all these National League teams, but that's because we think it's wide open.
Right.
Unless you guys think Mets and Dodgers are clearly better than everyone else. I don't view it that way.
I don't either. And the Dodgers pitching is all screwed up. I mean, they're just rolling. They're just Tyler Anderson, Tony Gonsolin still doesn't lose, but they don't have Walker Buehler. They don't have what they had a year ago, 2 years ago. And the Mets, until Scherzer and DeGrom get back, it's tough to truly believe. Like, they're winning with smoke and mirrors with that pitching staff. Taijuan Walker, David Peterson.
What about maybe we've talked a lot about how once you get past those first few teams of the American League, where's the scary team you don't want to run into in the playoffs?
Are you going to say it right now?
Yeah, probably. I don't know which one. Are you thinking Boston?
I had a feeling you were going to say either Boston or Cleveland again.
Oh, I wasn't going to say Cleveland, but I
was thinking about Boston. Can Rich Hill be that guy in
Well, that's the team that
October?
would make the big move. You figure it would be Boston.
Yeah.
Just define big too. Like the Cardinals aren't superstar at the deadline. Like,
Can the Red Sox go get Luis Castillo?
Right. Like Boston's going to be that team.
would you so range I find interesting. Cardinals, Red Sox, Phillies, Twins, 35-45. Is there one that stands out? Cardinals, Red Sox, Phillies, Twins.
Red Sox, if I had to
Red
pick one.
Sox.
And you know that city's going to put pressure on the GM. Like, they're not going to sit around. The Red Sox, when they're in it, they always try. That's the way they operate up there. They have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Red Sox are interesting. And they have the one manager, or one of the few managers we feel like in postseason does make some sort of difference in Cora. They're dangerous, sure. 36-1.
Is this just recency bias because they're the team that's played well the last week? They're the team that's standing out right now, putting this win streak together.
A little bit, but I mean you know what? Sometimes the books, I've noticed this season, they lag behind. Like, the odds for the World Series lag behind what just happened. I don't know if bettors do it every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. If there's new money coming in, it lags a little bit. Like, you think a good team loses to a bad team, you would see the number change. It doesn't really. So so the Red Sox are hot, but I don't think we're losing value on it if you like it right now.
Okay, if you're buying into the Red Sox, which team are you fading? Because isn't that telling us that likely the Rays or Jays are not going to be in the mix? Because they're going to play against each other so much.
Well, also put it this way. Someone can't win the wild card, right? So if you think the Twins are going to win the division and the Red Sox are going to make the playoffs, that means there's only 2 spots for the White Sox, Rays, Blue Jays, Guardians. Like, someone has to miss the playoffs. If we're in on the Red Sox and you think the Twins are going to win that division, someone is going to miss the playoffs that have better odds. Like the White Sox, 25-1. They might miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in them to win the division either.